In the barren badlands of central Utah, a small valley hides one of the strangest mysteries in paleontology. For over a century, the Cleveland-Lloyd Quarry has puzzled scientists, a graveyard where predators outnumber prey 10 to 1. Hundreds of skeletons, tangled together in what looks like a prehistoric massacre. The quarry sits within the Morrison Formation, the same layer that produced the giants of the Jurassic Apatosaurus, Stegosaurus, and Allosaurus. Yet nowhere else on Earth do we find such a concentration of carnivores. Locals call it the death trap. When early ranchers discovered bones eroding from the clay in the 1920s, they thought it was a graveyard of monsters. In truth, it was the world's largest jigsaw puzzle, and the pieces didn't make sense. Why were so many hunters dead in one place? What killed them, drought, quicksand, or their own hunger? To this day, the quarry keeps its secrets. The first scientific excavations began in 1928, led by William J. Stokes of the University of Utah. He and his students arrived expecting to find a few isolated fossils. Instead, they uncovered a mountain of bones packed into a small depression barely 50 meters wide. Most belong to Allosaurus fragilis, the top predator of its time. Skulls, claws, ribs, and teeth filled the clay like gravel. There were also fragments of herbivores, Camarasaurus, Stegosaurus, and Apatosaurus, but they were rare. For every one plant eater, there were 8 or 9 carnivores. It defied logic. Predators don't gather in herds. They don't die together unless something extraordinary happens. By 939, more than 3,000 bones had been excavated. The Smithsonian called it the most perplexing bone bed in North America. Stokes began to suspect that Cleveland-Lloyd wasn't just a burial site. It was a story of catastrophe, struggle, and the limits of survival. As the bone counts rose, theories multiplied. Stokes proposed that the quarry had once been a muddy pit, a watering hole gone deadly. During droughts, thirsty animals may have come to drink, only to become trapped in the deep. Sticky mud, predators, drawn by the struggling prey, fell in next victims of their own hunger. The picture becomes easy to imagine. A shimmering pond under a white-hot sun, cracks in the mud, spreading like spider webs. A Camarasaurus wading in, sinking past its knees, bellowing for help. Its cries echo across the salt plains, drawing Allosaurs from miles away. The hunters circle, unaware that every step forward seals their fate. Claws scrape, tails thrash, wings of dust rise into the heat haze. Then silence broken only by the bubbling of trapped air beneath the surface. The evidence seems to fit. Many skeletons show broken limbs and twisted spines, signs of animals dying in motion. Skulls are crushed as if trampled by others. The mudstone is streaked with ash and charcoal, perhaps the fingerprint of fires that drove the doomed creatures toward their deaths. But there's one more layer of mystery, the chaos of the bones themselves. They're not arranged like a quiet burial, but swirled together as if nature stirred the pot again and again, a stew of extinction cooking beneath the sun. In the 1950s, new teams from Princeton and Brigham Young University joined the dig. They found even stranger clues. Some bones were weathered before burial, others perfectly preserved, meaning death came in waves, not all at once. The quarry wasn't a single tragedy, it was a repeating one. Excavators mapped the bones layer by layer, creating one of the first 3D fossil grids in the world. They realized that most of the Allosaurus bones belonged to juveniles, gangly teenagers, not full-grown hunters. Were they gathering here to scavenge? Or was this a breeding ground gone wrong, where young predators fought each other to death? In 1960, a visiting journalist wrote, "The quarry feels haunted, a place where something terrible happened again and again." Even as scientists uncovered more fossils, the truth seemed to sink deeper into the mud. The deeper teams dug, the more it looked like a massacre site. Many bones were bite-marked by other Allosaurs. Broken femurs showed teeth marks where predators gnawed on their own kind. One skull bore the imprint of a claw, probably from another Allosaurus. It wasn't just death, it was cannibalism. Imagine the scene: a young Allosaurus wades into the sludge, eyes locked on a half-buried carcass. Each step sinks deeper. The clay grips its legs like quicksand. It thrashes, roaring, splattering mud across the bodies already entombed there. Others nearby charge in and fall the same way. Their own hunger becomes the snare. At dusk, vultures circle above, waiting for what the mud refuses to release. Days later, scavengers return smaller Allosaurs, perhaps the young of those already dead. They tear into the bodies of their kin, unaware they too will sink beside them. The pit becomes a feast, then a grave, then a legend written in bone. Even now, when you stand at the quarry's edge, the wind moans through the gullies like a cry still echoing from the Jurassic. By the 1970s, more than 12,000 bones had been recovered. It became the richest Jurassic fossil site on Earth. But the more scientists found, the less they understood. Chemical analysis of the sediment revealed high concentrations of iron and manganese, signs of stagnant water. Microscopic fossils showed algae blooms, hinting that the pond had turned poisonous. If animals came to drink, they may have been poisoned, sinking slowly into toxic sludge. Others proposed a predator trap, a natural pit, like the La Brea tar pits, where victims lured their killers to join them. Still others argued the bones had been washed in from floods. Each theory explained some facts, none explained them all. By the 1980s, the mystery had become legend. Textbooks called it the Dinosaur death trap, and field trips came from across the world. Children stared into the quarry's pit, asking, why do they all die here? No one could give a certain answer. When the digital era reached the desert, the story changed again. Laser mapping and GPS plotting allowed scientists to reconstruct the site in virtual 3D for the first time. What they found was astonishing. The quarry wasn't random. It was organized chaos. Clusters of bones formed patterns, showing that bodies had been moved by shallow water flow. Seasonal floods had reburied the pit again and again, layering death over death. CT scans of Allosaurus bones revealed stress fractures, evidence of violent struggle before death. Isotope tests showed dehydration in many victims, supporting the drought theory. In short, the pit was both trap and tomb. By the 2000s, museums in Utah and Salt Lake City displayed virtual reconstructions of the scene, shimmering holograms of predators sinking in slow motion. Visitors could walk through the tragedy, step by step, bone by bone. For the first time, technology let us see not just how they died, but why. One discovery changed everything. A 2007 study of tooth marks found that 100% of the Allosaurus bones had been gnawed by their own species. Even juvenile bones bore adult bite marks. Cannibalism among dinosaurs had long been debated, but Cleveland-Lloyd offered hard evidence. Predators trapped in the mud may have turned on each other in their final hours, or scavenged those who died before them. Either way, it painted a darker picture of the Jurassic world. In nature, cannibalism isn't rare. Modern crocodiles devour their young when food runs low. Komodo dragons feast on wounded rivals. Even lions, apex hunters, kill cubs of other males to secure dominance. The ancient desert was no different, only older, rawer, without mercy or memory. To humans, such acts feel brutal. To evolution, they are mathematics, the arithmetic of survival. Nature doesn't care for morality, only persistence. As one paleontologist said, there was no evil in this pit, only hunger and time. Today, the Cleveland-Lloyd Quarry is still active. Each spring, new teams arrive, students, volunteers, and seasoned paleontologists alike. the site has yielded over 70 Allosaurus individuals, plus rare fossils of Ceratosaurus, Camptosaurus, and Marchosaurus. Modern excavations are surgical compared to the old days. Every bone is mapped digitally, scanned, and analyzed before removal. Drone imaging tracks erosion, while ground radar searches for new bone layers beneath. In 2018, a new chamber was discovered beneath the main pit, untouched since the Jurassic. Inside were 3 intertwined skeletons of Allosaurus juveniles, still in feeding position. It was as if the quarry had frozen their final act of family trapped by hunger and mud. The site is now part of the Jurassic National Monument, preserved not as a mystery to solve, but as a story to honor. Standing on the rim of the quarry, you can still smell the clay thick, metallic, ancient. The pit below glows red at sunset, a mirror of the blood it once held. Wind whistles across the desert, echoing the hiss of time. To scientists, Cleveland-Lloyd is not just a fossil site. It is a memory of life, death, and survival at their extremes. To historians, it's proof that even predators can become victims of their own world. At twilight, the cliffs cast long shadows like ribs across the valley. Every gust of wind lifts a little dust, revealing glints of bones still buried in the ground. If you listen closely, you might imagine the sound of claws striking mud, the low groan of giants trapped in silence. It feels less like a dig site and more like a wound that never healed. As one researcher whispered before leaving the quarry at dusk, the earth remembers every scream. Cleveland-Lloyd is more than stone and bone. It's the echo of evolution itself, a reminder that survival always has a cost.